My penis was oscillating between extremely sensitive and borderline traumatized.
This one's wife. Taking the kids on holiday. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. One of the entertaining things about this one's wife is just how petty she is. You would think that somebody who regards herself as internationally famous, brilliant, captivating and magnetic would have better things to do than spend her time poring over what mainstream media has to say about her and what people on social media are saying about her. But she doesn't. The reason for this is that because she's lazy, she has other people doing many of the things that she ought to be doing herself, which gives her quite a lot of spare time. After all, she only works 1 hour a week in relation to Archwell. The paranoia of her narcissism compels her to want to know what is being said about her. This means that she watches the news, reads the articles, delves into the videos and the comments on social media. Indeed, it's often rumoured that she appears as a guest commenter on Below the Line on page 6 of the New York Post. It's also rumoured that she operates a number of social media accounts where she gets into arguments with other people. Whilst there's no definitive proof of that, it would be entirely conceivable for a mid-range narcissist such as this one's wife, because she gets drawn into these arguments. More sophisticated, more elevated, more evolved narcissists simply ignore all of the tittle-tattle about them, content in the knowledge that they are superior, more able, with a more extensive reach, more successful and wealthier. They've got more important things to attend to. Organising their business empire, going on world tours, orchestrating the invasion of countries, whatever it might be. They have bigger fish to fry than poring through social media to see what's being said about them. And even on the occasion where they might just have a little luck, they'll be more amused than anything else at the idle rantings of the hoi polloi, which they would just ignore with a shake of their head and then go back to orchestrating world domination. But for this one's wife, although she has got herself into this privileged position of being internationally famous and wealthy, she is still very much that mid-range narcissist that needs to know what's being said about her. She cannot stand the fact that people criticise her, and it really does get to her. Although it's challenge fuel, so she receives fuel which she requires, the repeated threats to control posed by people's criticism of her really infuriates her, because she doesn't regard it as fair. Blinded by her narcissism, she is incapable of understanding the dislike that exists for her because she thinks that she's beautiful, likeable, kind and empathic, and it really doesn't compute for her when she's repeatedly criticised. Accordingly, not only does the paranoia that exists within her move her to see what's being stated about her, she is also compelled to try and argue back, to nullify the threat to control, to, in the parlance of some, clap back. We've seen this with the reported activities through social media accounts by her, but she often does it through PR puff pieces, whereby if there's a criticism about her, 2 or 3 days later you have something reported on which is an attempt to prove people wrong. We see this again. This one's wife and Harry are regularly criticised for the absence of the children, the invisi kids as they're often called, and the fact that they're gadding around the planet, not taking the children anywhere, that they go to New York without the children, they go to Jamaica without the children, they go to Dusseldorf and The Hague without the children, they stop off in Portugal without the children. Many trips that they repeatedly go on, for instance to Whistler, without the children. However, such criticisms of this one's wife, that she does all of these things without her children, despite protesting that she's a wonderful, loving mother, gets to her. And therefore, we've seen another attempt by her through a PR puff piece to nullify those threats to control by suggesting that actually the children do go on holiday with them, and quite a lot. It's no surprise to learn that it is Hello, which is the PR puff piece which has been tasked with the opportunity through an article by Isabel Casey to explain to all of you horrible haters that actually she does spend plenty of time with the kids and takes them to lots of places. Because the article tells us, inside Prince Harry and this one's wife's lavish family holidays with Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. So, listen in, you haters, because you're going to be schooled in the fact that they do go on lots of holidays together. So, prepared to be chastised. Prince Harry and this one's wife have enjoyed a number of magical family trips with their children, Prince Archie, 4, and Princess Lilibet, 2. Family skiing trips are something that Harry experienced from a very young age when he and his brother Prince William used to hit the slopes with their mother, Princess Diana, Princess of Wales, and father King Charles, from the tender age of 6. Therefore, it's no surprise that he and his wife took their little ones on their first ever ski trip earlier this year. From living it up on the plummeting snow-covered mountains to a sun-soaked trip to Costa Rica, it's safe to say the Sussexes know how to enjoy a fabulous time away. In February, the family of 4 headed for Powder Mountain Ski Resort with this one's wife's close friends Heather Dorak and Kelly McKee Zaffian. The family trip saw the Duchess, but note, not Harry, not Lilibet, not Archie, pose for a beaming photo alongside her friends mid-ski. She doesn't ski, the vast mountain skyline providing the picture-perfect backdrop to the image. Sharing details about the family getaway, Heather revealed in the caption, "Wow, what a perfect trip. My heart is so full. The kids crush the slopes by day and the adults howl with laughter deep into the night. Truly lucky, in love with our wonderful friends." The trio looked incredibly glamorous in the holiday snap. The Duchess donned a cosy black puffer jacket coined the Super Puffer, in long by the chic brand Aritzia, and a matching woolly hat in the beautiful snap. She's also wearing her chic blender sunglasses. But we don't see Harry, we don't see Lilibet, we don't see Archie. They weren't there. But here we have, through a PR puff piece, an attempt to revise history by suggesting that actually it was their first ski trip. Well, if it was, where are the pictures? She has released pictures of the children in the past. July the 4th, supposedly at Halloween. Closely controlled, of course, in the Harry and this one's wife documentary. If the children were there, why not release one snap of them on the slopes? The reality is they weren't. But what she has to do in order to try and close down the criticism of her, because of her narcissism, because she can't stand being criticised, is to invent that the children were actually with her on this ski trip, even though there's no evidence to support it whatsoever. Next up, Hello tells us their ski trip wasn't the first time the Sussexes have holidayed with Heather and her family. In July 2022, the group celebrated July the 4th together in Jackson Hole Valley in Wyoming. The Duke and Duchess were pictured enjoying the parade with their children, although only Archie appeared in the photos in which he was captured waving an American flag. Oh, so that's meant to be a holiday, is it? Didn't look like one. But once again, this one's wife is trying to say, see, I do things with my children. Next up, it's Costa Rica. Ahead of their ski trip in February, the Sussexes headed for a pre-Christmas family holiday to Costa Rica. In photos obtained by C.R. Hoy, a news publication based in the Central American country, this one's wife was pictured holding her daughter Lilibet, whose bright blonde ponytail was front and centre of the sweet snap. The little one's face was obscured from view, but the photo showed her wearing a white dress. Meanwhile, glamorous mum, this one's wife, looked stunning, wearing a sleek black dress and sun hat. Well, I certainly don't remember any photographs of Costa Rica, and oddly enough, Hello don't produce any either. Is this another revision of history? Then we have, before the arrival of his little sister, Princess Lilibet, Archie and his parents celebrated his first Christmas in Canada. During the holiday in 2019, the Sussex trio enjoyed hiking in Horth Hill Regional Park on Vancouver Island. That's not a holiday. They were living there, so that doesn't count. Whilst away, Harry and this one's wife marked the milestone occasion with an adorable black and white photo that showed the young prince staring at the camera. That, of course, is the Christmas picture, which many people wondered whether it was legitimate, given the fact that this one's wife appeared more in focus than Harry, even though they were both sat further back. But to attempt to suggest that this was her taking the children on holiday when they were living with Archie in Vancouver is nonsense. Then we have their Canadian Christmas break wasn't Archie's first trip with his parents. It's September 2019 the then 4-month-old joined his parents on their royal tour of South Africa. At the time, the new parents couldn't help but gush about what a brilliant baby Archie was. She was speaking about motherhood and the transition and said that Archie was a good traveller, facade management. She said the transition was quite smooth because he's an easy baby and he was an easy traveller. He certainly is when staff are looking after him. Harry said he slept on his chest almost 11 hours during the flight. And Wasifa Majid, a friend of Shamila and Ibrahim Samadian, who hosted the Sussexes in their home. That's not a holiday either. It was basically work, going on a royal tour. So here you once again see the desperation of this one's wife to point out that you're all wrong for criticising her on going on trips without her children by trying to suggest that she has gone on lots of trips with the children, including a skiing trip where they weren't seen, a trip on July the 4th where they were seen, a trip to Costa Rica where it's suggested that Lilibet was seen, although it's questionable, that they're labelling where they lived in Canada as a trip, so that isn't, and a royal tour which was worked as South Africa as a holiday. It's quite pathetic, it's quite desperate, but that shows you the nature of this one's wife. That she has to tell you, oh, we've taken the kids on holiday on lots of occasions, when all she does actually is make it worse because you're entirely sceptical of what you've been shown and what has been written, and it just causes you to reaffirm the views that you already have, which demonstrates the idiocy of the way that this one's wife functions. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.